afternoon, everybody, and how are you? My name's Iris Smith, and I'm the owner of a small business called The Flower Patch, where I make beautiful artificial flower arrangements for all occasions. I hope you're all right, guys, and you're having a wonderful day. Thank you for all your wonderful comments I received last night. I did answer some of them, though, this morning, because I had a lot of things to sort out for my oldest son yesterday evening, so I wasn't able to answer all of the messages, but I have now. And thank you to a wonderful lady called Cindy. Hi Cindy, I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for sending me a picture yesterday of your wonderful wreath and your wonderful comments saying, you know, that you got the idea of from something that I created, and I think you did a wonderful job. It looked really bright and you know, fresh, you know, brilliant for the sunshine. It would look really, really great hanging on a door, and be proud of yourself. I was very proud of you, what you created and you achieved, and I thought it was absolutely divine. So keep your good work up, my darling. So after yesterday doing the pumpkin arrangement, where I was winging it, I enjoyed that, challenging myself. So I thought today, because yesterday I did an arrangement, I'm going to do a wreath today, and I'm going to wing that as well. So we're going to wing it again. And it really does, I think personally, you know, by doing things like this, it builds up your confidence to be able to create something, you know, in the spur of the moment. And I think that really does help along, you know, the way of the road or the journey to learning, you know, to be or become a floral designer. Because you may get some, if you are selling some of your orders, you may get somebody, you know, call in at the last moment and ask for something to be created, you know, if you can and you've got the time, straight away. And sometimes the customer's not really sure what they want and they leave it in your hands. So for you to sort of like try, you know, or learn to do arrangements where you're winging it, then that helps when you have a customer that comes at the last minute and wants something and they don't really know what. So then it's left to your imagination. So I'm going to do it again today. And I've got a 14-inch wreath that we're going to do it on. And I sat here about but 5 minutes. I looked up because my buckets all reached to the top of the ceiling. Looked up and just spotted something and thought, I'm not going to look at anything else. I'm going to focus on that. And then I'm just going to pick something out what we can do. And then I thought maybe we should, you know, I should try something slightly a little different where it's, again, I've only got one floral out. Whether I use that or not, I don't know. But I want to incorporate quite a lot of twiggy bits on this arrangement. I don't think I've done a video where I've done a lot of twiggy bits in one wreath. It's just the odd bits around the edge. So I've just, again, my twiggy bits are at the top. I just grabbed a few out. I thought, right, we'll try those. So again, this is what I do when I'm winging it. And then I just got out. The first thing I saw was the cotton buds. So that was my inspiration to do like twiggy bits. But I have made a bow, and I've only made it out of the burlap, and it's one colour. I don't want, again, it to be with any bright colours in. So I've just created a bow, and it's got 6 inch at the back, the back two either side are 6 inch. Then I went 5.5 inch. Then I went 5 inch. Then I went 4.5 inch. And then I went 4 inch in the center. So I've gone down 1/2 inch each step. So that's what I've done. And then I've got some long tail ends. They're at 16 inch, and then these at the top are only 6 inch. So we're going to wing it again. But before we start, I'm going to go through a few things that I've just picked out, and I've also had a look in my leftover box, and I've picked out, because they've got movement and they've got brown stems, I've picked out some of our elm leaf. And again, the movement there, I don't want to be overdoing it. I think anyway, you know, again, I haven't thought of a design, so I may not put much of this in. I'm not quite sure just yet, but we will see as we go along. I've also, because the lotus leaves are twiggy, as you can see, and you can spiral them around your finger or leave them out long. I thought with a bit of this greenery as well, with it having twiggy stems, there's a lot of twiggies. I've got 2 different types. Now, these are oddments, so I thought we could try these oddments as well. Hello.
Hiya.
Hiya, you all right?
Yeah, you.
Yes, darling, thank you.
You.
Thank you, take care. And sorry about that. It's my local courier who tends to bring all my parcels. So I've got the green one here, which again, these are just oddments I found in the bucket. And then I've also got some brown twiggy bits here. I've also got these twiggy bits where there's only just a little bit of leaf here and there, you know, dotted around sparingly. Again, twiggy bits. So I thought we could incorporate those as well. I've got these out. I'm not sure if I'm going to place them in, but I like the length of them, where they've got also twiggies bits, but wispy as well, of course, guys, with just little tiny leaves on them. And I thought I'll grab a few out of the big bunch and see what we can do with those. And I also found some oddments of these with the big bunch as well, with a green stem and little pieces of leaves, you know, sparingly dotted around on the stem. I also decided to get just some foliage out, and I'm not quite sure. I think this may be ruscus, but it's what's the word, guys, where it's got powder on? It's I've forgotten the word. Dusted, that's it. So I've taken 2 off of here, off this bunch at some point, so I'm left with 5. So I thought, again, it's wispy, and you know, it's not a full solid leaf. We're going to probably incorporate that as well. I did decide to get out some fern. Now I've got this fern where it just comes in single stems. So, and the single stems, I don't know if you can see, are very thin. So, but I decided, you know, we need a little bit of fern. And then in the bucket full of the Christmas foliage and things like that, I found just a small bunch, a few of the pine needles, probably what I used for something last year, maybe Christmas or Halloween or something like that, or autumn. But I found a few of these, so I thought, well, let's use all these up so they're not just sat around on their own. I've got this for the floral. Again, another wispy bit with like twiggy stems. So I thought we may incorporate some of those just for a little bit of floral. I've got my cotton as well. My my cotton stems, so we are definitely going to be placing these in. I've got lots here because it's a lot of twiggy bits. I've had to get quite a bit. I have got one solid leaf, which I've got the cream colour with the brown vein, you know, on the back, which looks lovely. It's got a great contrast of our, now then, oak leaves. I had to think, oh gosh. I always think my maple and the oak leaves look very, very similar, but we've got those out also. I decided to place some more on single picks of the wheat to dot around as well. So we've got some of those in like a cream colour as well. And I've only found these last few, guys, of these berries. I need to order some more of these as well as the orange. So we've got some like coffee coloured berries to go in also. I've decided again, because I love these so much, I may add in my lotus pods or heads. So if you haven't got these, you know, you could use the pine cones also. And finally, I forgot what this is called. I can't remember what it's called, but this is very twiggy. It's, you can hear it's solid. I can't remember what it's called, guys. That'll irritate me. But I thought we could, just for a different texture and something different, instead of the twigs, you know, the brown, dark brown twigs. Well, and these are being like, these are a cream colour or a milky white. So I thought we could maybe, I'm not sure yet about these, but maybe incorporate those. So that's what we've got today. And again, I'm challenging myself. We are winging it. So we're going to see what we can actually come up with on this design. So instead of an arrangement, we're doing a wreath where we're winging it. So let me just, I think this is my son's parcel. Yes, it's my son's parcel. So he's ordered himself some sliders, some new ones. So I'm going to bring the camera down. We're going to get cracking and we're going to give it a go. Again, I'm not nervous about this, because I just say to people, you know, trust the process as you go along. You know, start placing how you would in a normal wreath, your elements, and then start off by creating your boundary, and then from then on, then you will know how to add in your floral or just foliage if you're just using foliage, and your creation as you go along. You will start to see something in your mind, how it's looking, and you will carry on following that look in your mind. I did have a lovely lady ask me where I get all my ideas from. I think it was Maria, I think. All I can say about that is, oh, one moment. Hello.
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 Also fade up.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Lovely. Thanks a lot. Sorry about that. They take me off guard when they come. I forget what I'm going to say. But, oh yes, concerning the ideas, all I can say is I think it's down to, because I've been doing floristry for well over 25 years. It's got to be about 30 now, or probably more than 30. But I always say 25 years because I can't remember the exact year, how many years, unless I sit and work it out or look at my coursework that I did when I was at university. But I did start off in real flowers for many years. Went into doing funerals after I, graduated. Went into doing funerals, and making bouquets and, different designs, and learning off where I worked, learning from other members of staff and picking up new designs from them and remembering those designs. And also then when I worked in a florist shop, again, I got my experience and different designs from there, and so on and so on. That's where I got all the different designs. And then I was, went to work somewhere where they started incorporating objects in their designs, anything from like a cup and saucer, obviously a vase arrangement, a hat box, and all different elements and objects that you could use to think outside the box, basically. Something that you probably wouldn't think that you would use, like I did an arrangement using my son's old work boot, only one of them, and put an arrangement in there, but I made a masculine arrangement with that, and then I did a Christmas one, I think, I'm not sure, where I used one of my high heel shoes, things like that, or just get a piece of metal that you find, or scrap metal, what's on your garden, and you look at it and you think, I could create that into a beautiful arrangement, incorporate that within. And that's how I got all my ideas. And then when I left there and took on my own business in Real Flowers, I was creating, things like that, as well as carrying on doing funeral flowers, which I really did enjoy. And then I decided to go into artificial, because when you've got the real flowers and that, if you don't get any customers, your flowers have only got a certain length of a lifespan. If they don't get bought, or a customer comes to purchase an arrangement, you waste money and you have to, in the end, throw them away. So on the odd occasion, I ended up like that. So I decided I'm going into artificial, and I've been doing artificial for another, quite a few years as well. So then which I enjoy doing it now, more than the fresh, but you can't beat real flowers. The smell is divine. And that's how I just basically, then I just started using objects around the house that was, just not doing nothing, like it could be a vase, or it could be a small lantern or anything. And then I just started using things like that, or a picture frame, and incorporating an arrangement inside a picture frame. Just my mind, I just had to open up my mind and think about different objects that you don't really see, and try and create something beautiful with these objects, which a lot now people are, I see, are using different objects. And I still see other people who are doing floristry and they've used something, and I've sat and thought, oh, I never thought of that. So other people do inspire me, even though I've got many years of, experience. I still get inspired, and I still am learning, each day myself, even though, obviously I've got the experience of positioning the florals and things like that. It doesn't stop you learning. You will learn every day of your life, and other people, whether they are amateurs or, or more advanced, I still get inspired by some of their designs and objects that they use, and then that gives me an idea. So that is, basically how I think of different, ideas. So I hope that helps, Maria. Yeah, so enough chatting, let's crack on, because I'm dying to see what we come up with today by winging it with the wreath. So I'm just going to bring my camera down, so one moment. So let's get in, I think about here. Let me just make sure the camera doesn't, you see, this is where I feel sometimes it could be a bit too close. We'll leave it there. Oh, my son's got me a cup of coffee. My oldest son. He's off all week. Oh my gosh, he's made that strong. Right. So here we go. I'm not going to, oh, I don't know. Let's see. I don't think I'm going to place too many in again because, and also I think with it being twiggy, this wreath, I don't mind if I see the wreath, I think, because then the wreath will then be, you know, incorporated into all the twigs and it will blend in. So I think even if there's, you know, you can see through once I've got things on top, and you can see the grapevine wreath, the twiggy wreath. Well, this one's a twiggy wreath. Then I don't think I'm going to mind about that this time. But I don't want to go too wild with these. I think we're going to just place these sparingly for now. So I'm going to go right opposite my hook, the one at the bottom, and I'm going to go here. I'm just going to do a crescent one because I think if I'm going to do a crescent one in this with the materials I've got, it won't look as, what's the word? You know, with all the twigs, with all, it's where it's going to be all twiggy. I think if I went all the way around it, my own opinion anyway, it may not look as good as just being half of a wreath. I don't know what I've got here. I'm looking to see if I've got another one with two on. Oh, here's one. And if you've got leftovers, you know, grab some leftovers and have a go with your leftovers. Incorporate those. Let's have a look. I think a lot of these are single. I wonder if I can put, I've seen some with 3 on. Let's just tidy that a little bit there. Oops, upside down. That's not a good start. I think instead of going here, I'm going to bring it down here. So it doesn't look like, then I will have to place, you know, so I don't have to place in as many. Because it is going to be quite airy. I think we'll make it quite an airy wreath, I think. That's if it turns out like that. Here's another one. And I'll do the same with this one. Place this one here, but going up slightly. Now, I think I'm going to bring just the odd one. If I've got another one with 2 on. I think a lot of these are single. Gosh, they are. I want to see if I've got another one with 2 on. Probably not. Oh, yes, I have. So then I'm going to bring, I may place it in with 1 because I don't want it going way too far out. Again, we're going to make it quite like a twiggy effect, hopefully. That's if my my mind sends me into that. I haven't really got an idea of how I want it to look, again, because I'm winging it. So we're just going to go with it. And I'm going to bring one in on the center. I like to bring one coming in here because that, I feel it's nice to go with, you know, with the flow around, but also just bring some inside as well. And it adds to the arrangement, because the bow, I do want that here. So then you've got foliage coming out of this side of the bow, not just this one. So I'm not going to put any more of those in yet. If I feel we need some as we go along, then I will place some in. So we'll place these, and I'll put these back in my oops daisy, my leftover bucket. Right, now I'm going to incorporate the fern. Now again, these are all single stems, so let's see. Oops. What we can do with these. As you can see, they are exceptionally thin. I think that one's going to snap. Let me just see what that is. Oh, I hope I don't break it. Oh no, I've just pulled some of the colour off. I'll use a different one. Oh, I've done it. I've just pulled that at the bottom to see what was on it, and it's took the red off. Oh my good gracious me. I'm just going to use what as they come, because they come in a pack together like that. Let's be a bit more careful. As you can see, the stems are exceptionally thin. So this is an ideal for a wreath, with it being one of those thin twiggy wreaths instead of a willow wreath. Because it's got lots and lots of twigs, you know, all tightened together. You can, thin stems like this will hold in it. Now, if you had a wider wreath, you would probably have to bend this over or put a pick on it, you know, to make the stem thicker so the wreath would hold it. So I'm going to bring one here. See if we can just lift it a little. They're very thin, very thin. And again, I don't want to place in too many to cover it. I want to see the wreath. I'm lifting it back up so it's got movement and it's got a bit of volume, should I say, and a bit of a bounce. And plus that keeps flopping, so if I place something underneath, it will, you know, keep it upright. So I'll have to do that. Otherwise it will irritate me. Should I put one there? Yeah, we'll place one here. Just wipe off any glue that's seeping over the top. And with it being quite a thin stem, I tend to put a little bit more glue on. I'll place something underneath there to hold those up, because they're exceptionally light. do I bring, I'm going to bring one in the centre. Let me just cut this down a little bit. Pull off some of the leaves at the bottom so they don't get caught in the glue. And then bend it inwards, like so. So I'm not going to use any more of those. Gosh. Oh my goodness, they're all everywhere. I'll just gather them in my hands. And just put the band round them. Put the band round these, you know, think elements like these in the centre because the stems are really quite thin. So we've got just something like this at the moment, quite plain. I'm quite interested actually, guys, to see what this will turn out like. Because I don't really do many twiggy wreaths. When I say not many twiggy wreaths, I mean like what we're doing. So we've got our lotus leaves, and I'm going to place these in because they're a bit of a bigger leaf. And again, here comes our twigs. So this is going to be quite a joy, I think, to create. And you can lift these up, bend them however you like, give them the volume. And I think with the fern, I'm going to place some underneath the fern leaf, just, you know, so it's got something to lean on. Like that. I'll place that one in the middle. Some have got more leaves on than others. I don't mind that. I could easily chop them down if I wish. Or just place one in and then just manipulate it into different directions. So we probably do that. Bring some over here, some outwards, and another one coming up. I'm going to place this one in the centre. I'm going to bring that under there so that will give that a bit of a lift if I can get the stem in. So lift that up as well, like so. I think if I've got one a little bit smaller, yeah. Do the same here, help this fern to just sit up so it's not flat. Maybe lean it on top of there, like that. Wonder if I could do with one here. I will put under here as well. So the fern then will sit on top and doesn't look floppy. And if you think that's too long there, just wind it up and it will shorten that length. Let's have a look. I think one could be doing here, maybe under here. I've got one left, so do we bring it there? Let me just lift it up, guys, so I can see. I think here down at the bottom. I'm lifting the leaves upright so they are on show. I don't want them facing downwards. Right, so we've done that. I'm not going to add in any more. I could lift that one up a little. Give it the volume. These stems are really quite thick. I did cut some off before I started. Oh, let me get the band off. I did have a look at them and think it may be too thick for the wreath, so I took them off and put a small pick on and cut the pick down because obviously I didn't want it hanging out here. Again, these are exactly the same as these on the stems. You can manipulate them. Some haven't got anything on, but don't let that deter you guys and think, oh, I best cut that off because it's nothing on it. That's part of the twig, the effect of it. It's like the leaves are falling off because it's coming to fall, and you know you're left with a few odd bits of leaves left on the stem. So that adds all to the the style of the wreath that we're doing. Okay, and bring them through. Oh gosh, my tummy's rumbling. I've had breakfast and I even had a biscuit as well before I started. I sneaked in a biscuit, guys. So we'll do the same around here. Give that twiggy effect. Oops, it's caught. Just have fun if you've got things like this and play with them, guys. I love anything like this. I can't remember how many I caught. Oh, I think one's come off the pick. Right, let's get a pick. And the way I did this is just place some glue, put it on around here, and then use this to wrap around the pick a couple of times. So if I just get it like that, and then that will hold in the pick and let the glue dry. And then you have your pick. Cut it down like I did the others. I'm going to place one here. Again, it's going to have lots of twigs, so I think I need to cut another one off. So let's see if I can pull that and do the same. I may use this piece of and then we'll manipulate it and place one here. This may not be your sort of style wreath, but again, you know, you can have a practice with it, doing something like this, because you never know, if you are selling wreaths, you may get a customer that likes this sort of thing. I'm not going to, I may bring one in. That's quite a lot on there. In fact, I'll leave it. These stems are really thin. They was off a big bush and I've had to cut them down because they was quite thick and quite long to go in my bucket, so I do cut them down sometimes. Oh, let me drink my coffee. Oh my gosh, guys, did you hear my tummy? And then we've also got these. Do I use those? I may. I want to put some of these in. Now these are another ones that I had to cut down because these were over 1 metre long stem and they was really too big for my bucket. But I've now started, instead of cutting them down, bending the stems over. I don't know why I didn't do that in the first place. Oh my goodness, I can't get them out. I can't loosen the band. Oh, I'm just going to cut it. Otherwise I'm going to be trying to figure it out all for quite a while. Right, let's see. So I'm going to cut these 3 off. They are quite long. And I'm at least, you know, you can manipulate them, give them a bend so it just doesn't look vertical. And I can use these for some length in the arrangement, which I like things like this. That's not gone in properly, guys. Let me just pull it back out if I can. Oh my gosh, the glue's set. There we go. Let's just put more of a let's give it another go. Again, just bend it in different directions. I'm going to bring one down here as well. Bend that down a bit. And when it comes to having twiggy bits, you do have all different lengths of twigs. You know, they will be wispy, they will stick out longer than some others, but that's okay. Again, that's part of the design. I've got a small one here, I could bring that in there. Let's grab another. You do have some spare, as I call them, prongs here. So if anything's too low down here like that, you can pull it off and you can pop it onto that one. And I've got one spare up here, so I'm going to use that one up there as well. And I'm going to place that little leaf on here also. Oops. Like that. So then the prongs at the bottom, well, I've just pulled those leaves off. I will cut down so it makes, you know, and keep it tidy. So I'll bring one here, keep these lifted up. It may look quite, some people might think a bit messy to start with. Let me just I'm going to cut one shorter, but again, that's the style that we're doing, where it's mainly twigs. And bring one out here as well. So I've got little pieces here, I don't know what from, so I could just bring some on the ends. Let's get these all incorporated as well. Bring them there. And I'll place two here. Like so. Oh, I've got another one. Oh my good gracious me. I must, you know, and I've got glasses on. I don't know why I didn't see it. Silly me. Oh gosh, look at the string. The glue's quite stringy. We'll just place that in there as well. And then we won't use any more of those ones. So we'll bring those on the floor. I can see a blue string. So let's put the band back around those. We are going to be incorporating that oak leaves as well. But I'm just wanting to get majority of the twiggy bits in, or most, or all, should I say, as much as I feel it's needed before we start placing in the other elements. And again, we're going to be adding these in for length and wispiness. doesn't matter if they come out in different directions. And you can play with all these when you know, once you've finished, like you would with your bow, you know, just fluff it up. You can do that with all of these as well. I think, again, bring some out here. That's joined in with that one. I don't want that. Let's get a bit harder step. Like that. I've got some smaller pieces, so I may bring some down here as well. I've got 3 pieces left. I'm going to bring some, if I can get it in, on the inner side. The stem's not too clever, but we won't let it defeat us. And let's maybe bring one here. These stems, some of them haven't got wire in. Right, so we've done with those, got those all used up. So let me just have a look. Oh, there's a lot of glue showing. Right. So if I see a lot of glue showing in my wreaths, like here in the centre, I will basically just get some small needle nose pliers and pick it off. Because with the glue set, if you want to be placing something there and the glue set on top, you won't be able to get in any other stems in that certain position if you want something placed right there and there's glue. So I'm going to pick off some of the glue, and plus it makes it look more tidy. Oh, I've caught myself. I don't want to pick too much off that it's going to loosen the stem. It's just, I don't like to see it all set on top. Right, I've got a piece here that's right, so I think before we place these in, I want to maybe, I'm just going to have a look, incorporate our bow. yeah, we're going to place in our bow. So we'll do it here. The other wire. I'm using a weaving needle to thread through the grapevine, so it's easier to get your wire through than struggle. So I want it where these will be hanging down, so around in that position. So there, by bringing these tail ends to the top. So I hold it in that position. Twist. Let me just twist a little harder at the bottom. And then get the wire and bend it back inside the wreath. I tend to use my pliers, needle nose pliers, to push it in, just seeing. So there is our ribbon, or bow, should I say. Oh, I'm so naughty for saying that. It's a ribbon when it's on the reel, but it's a bow when you've created it. And I sometimes forget. I may want to pop those through like that, so they're coming out at the bottom. So I'm weaving them through my foliage. Like so. Bring some of the foliage in to join in with the bow, so it looks like, you know, some of your foliage is growing through. Bring one of those. Oh, it's a bit too heavy on it. So we'll just move that like that. Maybe bring, if you wish, some of the twiggy bits through. So it adds also to that look of what you're doing. Just grab a twiggy bit from under here. Bring that up. So it's just making it look like you've been, you know, some of your foliage is growing throughout the bow as well. Right, let's add a bit of this in some of our oak. Does it look right? Or am I making it look a bit too much by adding those in? I don't know. Let me stand above. I don't know. Something's telling me to hold back. So let's just hold back with those. We have got maybe the odd one or two of these. I don't want these to be taken over because they are very noticeable. instead of those. I think we're going to disregard these guys because, you know, I'm trying to keep within the twiggy theme. I think by adding such a quite a solid leaf may, you know, take us away from that slightly. But I don't really want these, I think, on top. I think I may incorporate these around here. I don't know. Let's see. I just want to place a hard one in, see. I think they look okay under the green coloured foliage. I don't think if I place them on top, I think, oh, I don't know. See, this is where I'm challenging myself. And again, trust your process, guys. They do tangle up, guys. Trust the process that you're doing, and just, you know, check it before, you know, like I'm doing. Placing it in and just having a look what I think. So if I cut that one there, I'm just going to stick it there. I think they look okay underneath. I don't think they would if they was on top. Let me cut that piece there. I don't want it that long. But yeah, I think that looks a little better. Underneath, and then some of these I'll have here. I've got small pieces here I can incorporate around here. I think they will look okay on the top, just around there. I don't want any there. So I'm going to do that with it. I think looking above it, again, stand up if you sat down, you know, on occasion, to stand up and look above it and how you're viewing it from above, and you will get a better eye view of it than sat down. So I think they would look better underneath. So we're going to place these underneath as well. Again, with them being twiggy bits, and I can manipulate them under my foliage and just manipulate some of them as well, and bend them around, have fun playing with them, give them that movement. I think let me just place these small ones in. I don't mind these being on top because they're in and around the bow. So I don't mind that. Again, brings some things within the bow. Just turn it around, guys, so I can put a bit of pressure on pushing it in from that angle. Just bring that tail end under there. So it's just a matter of moving it and twisting it so it looks like they're all flowing within each other. I don't like that there. So like that. So then I'll place in these ones around the side, underneath. Oh gosh, I can't grab the wreath, it's falling. And I'll do the same with those going on under. I will manipulate some of them and, you know, give them a bit of movement. So you're just basically seeing the white pods underneath. They're not going to take over because we are going to be placing in our cotton. Just bring that tail end under. I think that may need to go through here. Yeah. So we've got those under there as well now. Like that. So I don't think I'm going to use any more. Oh, I found one single piece here. Let's see what we can do with that piece. So I'll place those on there. They are quite weighty. So we've got this single piece. I may bring it underneath here on the inside. Again, bringing things in. So if we lift up here, and then incorporate it with these in center. As well. So you've got that in the center also. So I'll leave those as they are. Right, let's have a look. We've got I quite like everything, me. Oh, that looks nice. Oh, I don't know about the flowers. Oh, that does look nice. Oh gosh. Oh my goodness, I'm terrible. Right, now let's think what we shall put in. I think these little twiggy bits I will dot around once things are in. I think if we get our cotton in, and then we can work around the cotton. Oh. So let's incorporate some going this way. And just be a bit careful because the cotton does catch on your foliage. And it can tear it like this. It's very delicate. You could spray it with hairspray, to keep it all together as one. You can do that as well. That will hold it in. And you do that sort of thing with pampas grass as well, to stop all the little bits falling off. Just give it a spray. Now I'm just going around like I've done there. I'm going to go and place these around as well, lifting some up. And then what's left I will incorporate maybe around the bow here, because it's on the outside. That's just, I think I'd like twigs. I've got a glue string attached to me. Oh my good gracious. I should have sprayed them with hairspray. I may do that after, once I've finished. I've got 4. I'm going to definitely bring one out here around the bow. I can get it in, guys. I can't see. Let me just place a bit more glue on it. Bring one there. Lift the head. Place one inside as well. Again, always bring one on both sides of, incorporate things on both sides or all around your bow. I think I may need to cut that one. I don't want it as long. Then we'll fluff up his bow. I've got one left. Oh no, I've got 2 left. Oh, that's good. I may actually bring, do I bring it out here? Yeah, I'm going to bring them out there, but I'm just going to go slightly a bit lower. So we changed my mind. So we have got just one pop in there. And if you feel that it's not holding, place a bit of your twiggy bit for the balance, so it holds it and supports it. Now, did I want it there instead? No, it's there instead. Sorry, placed it in the wrong place. There. So we've got in, have we got anything popping out at the back? No, we're all good. So we've got in now our cotton. I'll wait a moment for those. Oh, I found elastic. So do I place in some bits of floral? I may, because they are brown on the inside as well, I may just dot a few bits around the edge, and I may just bring the odd one as well in the centre. I think just to give it a little bit of floral. So let's try it and place one here and just let it sit amongst the other foliage. Just, you know, incorporate it within. I don't know, I don't think I like how that's sat. So let's see. Maybe on the outside. Let's just bring some on the outside to start with. I may bring one in here, just to add that movement. And here also. I may just bring one around here. Again, I don't want too much, because I want to keep it as, you know, twiggy, and also I want to be able to see the grapevine wreath as well. I'm not looking at covering it. I think that would maybe be enough. Do I bring one in? I may cut one off and bring it in the centre. Bring that one underneath as well. So let's try that with these, like I did with the, I think the mango pods, that's right. That's what they're called. I knew it'd come to me some point. These here, the mango pods. I think I need something to just balance those on like that. Right, let's get some of these. I've got 5 stems. I'm pulling them back to cut them as as far down as possible to give me a bit of length on the stem. Again, because these are quite twiggy, just nappy. They're not push-ups. I just may bring these in. Because I think we're needing something around here. And here as well. And I want to bring one here, this side also. And then I'm going to bring one on, I think, on the outer side. There we go. So I've got those in. Let's just have a look. This is a very twiggy arrangement. I'm going to bring some on the outside. One here, I think. I'm going to do the same up above here. Let's cut that a little bit shorter. And bring one here. You may, like, as you're doing it, think to yourself, oh, it's just too much, too many gaps and, things like that. Because you're used to the way that you, fill in areas. I've already thought to myself, oh, is it too much gap? But then I have to, like, again, as I say, trust the process. and say to yourself that as part of the actual arrangement, where it is a twiggy arrangement, I think I may add these smaller pieces in the bow as well. Bring two smaller pieces on the end here. So let me do that with these. If I feel though, as you know, near the end that it is too twiggy, then I will probably add a solid leaf. Go and grab a solid leaf and place that in some areas, but not, you know, everywhere. So push that a little bit more. I want to stick these little pieces onto our ribbon. Just bring these loops down where they belong. That one's not, it's a little bit wobbly. I did have one there. Where's it gone? Oh, it's here. And bring one there as well. So we've got those in. I don't think I'm going to place those ones in. I think by adding these we'll add a bit different textures than just the twigs. And then we've got the berries. I think these pods will also cover some of the grapevine up. Let's get in our pine needles. So I'm going to do the zigzag with these, one on the inside, one on the outer side. Just bend it up a little bit. just keep going around. Oh my good gracious me, silly me. Bring one here. I'll do the same here too. Let me just turn it around. Oh, I've done it again. Right, I've got 3 left. I could bring those down there. Let me cut those a little bit shorter. I'm going to just bring these on the inside. A bit lower down. And I'm going to place one actually in the middle. So I'm going to cut that one. Let's just see if it's a bit too big actually. We'll do that again and put a bit of green in the centre as well. Right, let me just go and get my pods. Oopsie daisy. Can you see okay? Now I'm going to bring some of these pods in as well. If I bring the big one in here, and then you may see that this will help as well with this, you know, if you think it's a bit too see-through, that you can see too much of the grapevine, bring something in like this. If you want a flower or anything like that, incorporate a flower if you know, if that's what you'd like to place in yourself. Just lift it a little. And this will give it just a bit more of that texture. I'm going to bring this one on the outer side a little bit. In between, I'm going to just lift the head slightly. Let's just move that twiggy bit out of the way. I've got it there. Oops. So we've got that one there. So I've placed those on there like that, just to hide a little bit of the, you know, gap, because sometimes, you know, you just want to cover some of the gaps up on the wreath instead of having too much showing. Now I'm going to bring some of the wheat into it. As well. Let's just so I'm going to bring some on top and some on the side. So how many have I got? 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Right. So let's bring some on top. Bring one on the end as well. Here. So I'm going to try and do the zigzag again with these. Again, some on bottom, some on top. That's caught. Just by adding something a little lighter with the foliage, even if it's just things like the wheat, you know, that gives it that little bit of, you know, pop, as I say, brings it alive a little bit as well. Just lift it up a bit so it's got a bit of movement, volume. We're going to bring one out here. Let's just go under our ribbon. And then just thread it through some of your foliage. Let's bring one around here as well. Come back on this side. The best thing about doing the arrangements when you're winging it, apart from obviously building your confidence in doing something like this, but it's also, as you're going along, I can remember when I first started and I winging things and trying it out. I used to think, oh my goodness, what's it going to look like at the end? But you know, as you go along, like at the beginning where there was lots of twiggy bits, now just by adding in little bits of things like these, you know, is bringing it alive and making it look really, really pretty. And you start to look at it and think to yourself, I quite like that. And that's why I say trust the process. You can't really say you know, well, you can, but I always say, you know, wait till you, like, probably around this stage or just slightly earlier, to actually see your arrangement, and you will be, you know, quite happy, because I think this is quite a lovely look. It looks really pretty. So I'm going to bring, I think, those two maybe there. Just going to see if it's too much. Yeah, one there, I think. Oops. Let's just bring some of the and let's just cut a little bit of the stem on this one and incorporate this. I can see under the bow. Just bring that in there as well. Like so. So I am quite happy with how it's turned out. Again, I had no plan. I was just wanting twiggy bits. More twiggy bits than you know, big foliage. So I'm going to place this on here. So that's the look we've gone for today. I'm quite happy that we did. Let's bring one on here. Just basically I've stuck to, I think, the neutral colours. I've not gone and added really any, you know, when I say colour, like reds, purple or oranges into it. I've stuck to the neutral tones. And use the bow as well, and kept that as a neutral colour. And I'm just basically dotting these around. I may have to cut that one shorter. I can't get that one in, I don't think. Oh, it's gone in. Oh, I've just pulled that off. Right, let's. There we have it. 2 left. I'm going to bring one out here and again one in the middle. There, and then one in the center. There. So I have used everything on my workbench to create quite a twiggy and airy wreath. I'm going to just sort these tail ends out. I think that one's a little too high. Yeah, there. I just want to have a look. I think I'm just going to get, I can just see something that does need something there. Around here, underneath. It's got one here, the elm leaf, but there's not one here. And I think if I place that in at the bottom, that would look a little bit more. Let's just move that out of the way. Yeah, I'm not going to do anything else to it, guys, because I want, as I said when we started, I want an airy wreath that you can see your grapevine wreath through. I was going to aim for that look, and with it being twiggy, oops, I keep knocking it, with it being twiggy as well, you're just basically using those elements what are mainly airy and twiggy. You're gonna find it hard to cover your wreath anyway, unless you place in more solid leaves, and also if you don't put more solid leaves in, you probably have to put lots and lots of the twiggy bits in to cover the grapevine wreath, which, you know, I think making it look like this looks quite nice and natural, because if you think about it, you know, trees and that all have gaps in them, you know, if that makes sense. They're not compact and solid where you can't see through. So that was my aim, to try and just do a twiggy wreath using some cotton. So let's get rid of all these bits. And then I'll bring the camera up. Let's bring it in. So let's now place our camera up. Let's see if I stand here. You may not be able to see all of it. There's one thing that's irritating me is this twiggy bit down here is going in the wrong direction. I may actually just slightly cut it a little bit shorter. That's better. And that one too. So it's not looking as like it's gone off on its own and it's not, you know, balanced with any of the other elements. Now and again, as I stated, this arrangement will be, you will have gaps in. If you can see, as you can see at the top, there's gaps in between. Like usually when I do a wreath, I like to fill in the gaps. But again, with it being the twiggy design, you won't be able to fill in all of those gaps. So like here, you'd have to place lots of different twigs and elements just to cover gaps like here. So again, I wanted to make it more natural, so it looked like in nature, you know. And I actually quite like that, with it being quite twiggy. I think that's quite nice. I don't know if I want to place that one in a little bit more. I think that's out a bit too much. So let's just pop that in a little bit more so it doesn't look by itself. Just having, you know, playing around with it. So yeah, so that's the whole of the idea of doing a twiggy bit, that or a twiggy wreath, that you can see through it. It's going to be an, you know, airy. It's not going to be solid like we would if, like I've done the one behind where I filled in all the gaps. This isn't that design at all. So just if you've got oddments as well, guys, of your twigs and things like that, you know, place them in. Again, I've only put these florals in, but I've only put, I think, about 5 stems in, I think. And that is it. I didn't really want flowers, but then when I sat, when I was picking things out, I saw them and thought, well, they are quite dainty. You know, they won't really stick out because I'm not going to place them in to the point where you will see them first. So I think as well, by adding these lotus with them in dark brown, the cream colours and the, you know, what you have bounce off of that, and also with the adding in, you know, the berries, then the green and the dark colours bounce off of that, so they bounce off of each other, just to give them that contrast. And also using a neutral bow as well, instead of something with a bright colour, you know, that sits in perfect and balances it out as well. And you could use, you know, you don't have to use these pine needles if you know, you feel you don't want those in, and you maybe want to put in some, oh, let's think, some wild, or some astilbe. Actually, you could place in some astilbe instead of, you know, the pine needles. And if you haven't got wheat, artificial wheat, you could place in white lavender, you know, instead. And if you haven't got these coloured berries, you know, don't panic, guys. You know, just add in something else instead of the berries. What could you add in? If you've got a bit of, let's see, seeds. If you've got seed heads, you know, add those in instead. And like I've got the lotus here with all the long, where you can wrap them around your finger and manipulate them, and they look, you know, they're fabulous for that. You know, if you've got some of those, use those in it, and that will give that off that extra little bit of texture. And also with the twiggy bits with nothing on them, just twigs, dot those around like I have in the center. That one's sort of like, I think, moved off to one side. Something's caught on it, so that should be over there, like that. So I've got them like a letter X. And just add those in, a little bit of greenery in the center as well, just so it looks like all of this is growing through your bow, instead of having your bow just there, empty, bare, nothing in it. Incorporate floral or foliage, and, you know, bring your bow alive as well, to give that lovely effect that you've thought, you know, about bringing things through the bow to give it more of a natural look, like you've, you know, they're growing through each other like flowers and foliage would if it was in your garden. And add bits of fern if you have fern as well, or if not fern, some grasses, you could add those in because they're airy. You know, just try to think of all different like wispy bits and twiggy bits that would be added into something. And then instead of the lotus heads, if you haven't got them, use pine cones. That, with them being dark as well, they will be good also. And then just little bits of filler foliage. Look for the filler foliage that is airy, and quite twiggy, not a solid leaf. I haven't got a solid leaf in here. The only solid, well, I say solid, the elm leaf is airy because you can see through it. It's not a full solid leaf. So everything in that I've incorporated into it is all airy, wispy or twiggy. Thanks, hon.
Welcome.
And, you know, the only more of a solid thing is these lotus heads and the cotton. So give it a go, guys. And if you like something like that, again, don't be frightened if you can see through, because that's the whole look, you know, the twiggy look, where you can see through it. Because also this wreath, with it being the same texture and twiggy wreath, it adds to it as well. So if you're going to have a go, guys, have fun with it and try and incorporate as many twiggy bits as you've got. Even if you've got some stems but they've got bigger leaves on, maybe just get a pair of scissors. I've done it before. If I just show you on something, I cut something earlier, but if you say, if this was bigger and you thought it was a bit too much on, you know, and you got it on a twiggy stem, just get your scissors and just, well, I tend to fold it in half. I fold the leaf in half. I tell you what, I'll cut that off and do it singular. You've got the leaf here, whether it's a bigger leaf, fold it in half and then follow the shape with your scissors around, you know, the shape of the leaf. Cut it and, if I can, and then open it and you have a tinier one. So if you have, say, like, I'll use this for an example, and these belonged, I don't know if I could get anything on here. Oh, well, it fits. And there was a bit like that, and you didn't want those leaves to be that big. Cut around it and then it'd end up like that, which would be more twiggy. That's if you wanted to experiment with the size of your leaves, and that's with any other leaves. In fact, I've got a big leaf here, what's on its own. Let me just grab it. Oh, where's it gone? And then I can show you what I mean. Oh, here it is. It's just the last one. Instead of adding these in, because it's quite a broad leaf. You can cut it in half and just make it thinner, and you're just taking off the edging of it, and you're just making it slightly thinner and more slimline. And do it to them all. So you're just cutting down that broad leaf and making it slim. I mean, I've just done a quick example of it. So you've got it more, you know, slimmer. So that would look more pleasing in there than a broader leaf. That's if you're doing this theme, you know, where it's mainly twigs. So if you try that, if you haven't got, you know, a lot of twiggy leaves or airy leaves, cut a few down and shape them to be slimmer and add those in as well. And you'll be pleasantly surprised. So, again, I hope you enjoyed that. And I hope you're going to give it a go. There's something airy, wispy, see-through, you know, twiggy, and give it that natural look. And also, I think with this, you could have this all year round, if I'm being quite honest, because there's no specific seasonal flowers in there. These are just little daisies, so that you don't really see them. So, and plus they're neutral as well. I know these cotton is seasonal, but it adds to that effect. It could act like snowflakes, you know, if it's snowballs for Christmas, things like that. And we tend to use these pods for Christmas, and berries as well, and the pine needles. So I guess you could have it out, you know, it could be an all year round. So I hope you enjoy it, guys. Give it a go. Use some of your leftovers that you have, you know, and even if you've got some stems where you've got, you know, certain shaped leaves on them, cut them in smaller if you know, to give that twiggy bit. Or if you've got some leftovers that you don't really like, or you've got some elements that you don't really like them anymore, and the wispy, you know, like, I don't know, let's grab this, and the wispy like that, but you don't really like them, pull the leaves off and just use these as a decor for the movement and a bit of wispiness. You know, you can do that as well. So have fun if you're going to have a go, guys. Please subscribe, share and like to everybody you know. Bring them along, you know, just to come and watch and see all the different designs that we create, and, you know, different ideas for yourselves to have a go and enjoy and challenge yourself. Again, we was winging this, and by doing arrangements like this where you've got no idea on what you're doing, it builds your confidence, guys. Especially if you're selling, like I said at the beginning, if you're selling anything and somebody comes at the last moment and wants something for tomorrow, you know, the following day, and they don't know what they want, they just know what colours, and they're leaving it in your hands, then that is, you know, by challenging yourself and winging it, that will give you the confidence to be able to do that for a customer or a family member or friend. So give it a go. It's a good learning curve. So enjoy if you do, guys. If you fancy sending me some pictures of it or what you've created, anything that you've created, my email address is theflowerpatch2401@gmail.com. And I'll see you all tomorrow. God bless. Have a wonderful day and take care. So I love you all. Keep your comments coming and press that like button. And, you know, it does help. And have a wonderful evening as well. A nice, relaxing evening. So take care, guys. And I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye for now. Bye-bye. Right, so right, it's gone over 2 hours, this video. I don't mind. So there's the cotton, as you can see. Oh, there's lots of twiggy bits. Here's some twiggy bits here. The twiggy bits here with just a little leaf on them scattered around, some empty. You've got your little twiggy pieces. I don't know if you can see. Is it zooming in properly, guys? Yeah, your twiggy bits here as well. And there's some more twiggy bits at the back with nothing on them. We've got our wheat, our little flowers, our berries, I had to think then, our lotus heads, and then our pine needle there as well, and then our mango pods here. They are like wood, guys. They really are. If you can, I don't know, can you hear them? It's just wood. And then we've got obviously our elm leaf here, and some more twiggy bits here as well, with nothing on the end. Look, it just adds to that texture. And our fern down here, and our lotus leaves here as well. So if you were, if you enjoyed that, guys. Oh, and don't forget the airy, I think it may be ruscus, I think, I'm not quite sure. But it adds to it the bit of movement. And then obviously our bow, where it's the just the burlap, where I've added in the twiggy bits in the center as well, and a little bit of greenery and some of this as well. And then I've placed cotton bud near it, some cotton near it, as the bow as well. So I hope you enjoyed that, guys, and I hope you give it a go. And again, if you've never done it before, trust your process, guys. Just go with it. Keep placing things in. You may not like how it's sitting at the beginning, but just keep going, because at the end, look what you can achieve. So enjoy and have fun. And I'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now. Bye-bye.